Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and like, follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. We're in studio today with myself again. I keep saying the same thing on these intros. I got to change it up a little bit.
And me. Don't forget me.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Jenny in the house.
What do you mean, oh, yeah?
Ooh. Dr. Jenny in the house.
Good morning.
You getting me in trouble again? Golly, I've been getting in trouble for the last 10 minutes.
Stop being a misbehavior.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.
Don't begrudge me because I am correcting your behavior.
You're not the mama.
Sometimes I feel like I am.
Hey, it brings up the topic. It's just be who we are today. Be who we are today, right? That's the topic. Be who you are.
I feel like the topic is more not just be who you are, but be in the present moment.
Yes, being in the moment. Being who you are, where you are, how you are.
Now.
And quit putting everything off or dwelling on the past.
Yeah. Be here now.
So we're going to be here now and do a podcast. Are you ready?
Indeed.
Okay. You ready? We're going to start again? Just
okay.
kidding.
1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Live on air. Yeah. So that is the topic of the day. It was a great one. It is a great one because I know there's a lot of people that do this. We get caught in this reciprocating thought process of, I'm going to do that when I'm going to dedicate to doing this then, like we got a holiday coming up that reflects this 100%. My New Year's resolution. Well, why do we wait till New Year's to change things? And most of the time, New Year's resolutions are only 8% actually accomplished.
Right. Yeah.
And so because they keep putting it off in the future.
Yeah. And on a rabbit hole deeper level, you're actually changing frame by frame, millisecond by millisecond anyway. So being aware that you're doing it and just reprogramming.
Yeah.
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 So saddle up, folks. Here we go.
So
I feel like you need a gallop button.
And I only have so many buttons on this thing. That was actually pretty close to being good. I should save that. Save that, editor. And I'll program it on my buttons. But anyway, so moving into the topic of being who you are, where you are, and what you are, and establishing and being okay with what you've created, the reality that you're living in currently.
Yeah.
Becoming okay with it. Like we are currently, we're redoing our house.
Yeah.
Where we live. We're redoing it. And
so I could tell my story real quick, just to kind of
get on after it,
intro in as to how we got to this place.
Yep, go ahead.
Because we live in an apartment that is at our job as part of kind of the requirement. Our housing is part of that. So it's an apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a nice little apartment. It's got quite a bit of space. And we've been here, 3 years now?
3.5 years.
And I feel the need to come up with different themes. Like I'm bored with the themes that I've put in the different rooms of the house. I'm ready to change them up.
Yeah, we literally have themes in every different room. Just so everybody knows. Okay.
But I found myself saying, because recently we started kind of playing with the idea of buying a house that wasn't part of this property and having it kind of closer to the beach where we could kind of get away. Yeah, so we've been looking.
To be clear, we're looking at Daytona Beach.
Yeah. So we're looking at houses. We haven't really found one that we say, oh gosh, this is the one. But I found myself saying, oh, you know what? I'll redo my living room when we get the new house. Like I kept having to give myself permission kind of to, like, it wasn't okay in my brain to redo this space now because it seemed like a waste of money, a waste of time, whatever, because there's nothing wrong with the furniture and the theme that we have going. I'm just bored with it. So I was not allowing myself to just go with my highest level of joy and excitement. I was kind of blocking that or stifling that energy by not giving myself permission to just do it here, because this is where I live right now.
Yeah.
In the now, right now. And so I was doing a lot of daydreaming. Okay, when I buy my beach house, I'm going to decorate it like this, and I'm going to do this theme here and this theme here. And it started to make this apartment not feel like home.
Yeah.
It started to make it feel like a temporary landing spot, almost like staying in a hotel. And so I didn't get that homey feel when I came home every day. And so I find myself trying to do things to make it feel homey, not being able to accomplish that because in my mind,
Your home was the new house we haven't even bought yet.
Yeah, my home became this imaginary home that doesn't even exist yet, rather than living in the place where I'm at now. I stopped living here. I started living in the future home, which is fine to do to a certain extent, but it can be, if you're not careful, just like with me, it can be a trip up point where it changes your perspective about where you're at now.
Yeah.
As an example.
And to kind of marry in with that is when we have two different beliefs in that situation is because, you have a belief is your home where you feel the most comfortable. And I at least I think you differ from mine a little bit. My belief of home is where me and my loved ones are. We can create a home in a cardboard box. I don't really, that's kind of how I look at things. And that's why I kind of just give you the freedom to do whatever you want to do, because it doesn't really matter to me. And
yeah. So I did present living in a tent on the beach. Let me just clarify for you so you get to know us a little better. I presented living in a beach lean-to, kind of having a survivor, thriving, make our house out of the land.
Recycled seashells.
My husband was completely against it, so don't let him fool you.
Well,
home is not a cardboard box in his mind. We get the premise, though.
Yeah, you get the premise. And so the reality is there's nowhere in Florida that you can legally live on the beach unless you buy the property. And so, because I looked.
That's another story.
We can go out there and put a tent out there all we want, but they're going to run us off. So it's kind of funny.
He's definitely a glamper.
You know why? I think it's because I never had that opportunity when I was younger, and
to glamp.
Yeah, it was always, we
deep down camping.
Yes,
dirty
camping,
butt.
Dirty butts, everything. 9
dirty
days
aspects.
of it. There we go with my aspects again. And so now that I'm an adult, I don't want to do that. And that's okay.
Been there, done that,
Yeah.
got the t-shirt.
I mean, it was the way I lived. It's not about,
doing it for fun.
Doing it for fun. It was about, that's how we had to live.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
It's not something that I would look forward to being in, especially in our financial place, in our financial world, in our life. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's a different place of being where we are.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to what I was saying is we do this, and not just about the house and being okay with where you are, but we do it in a lot of things in life. Humans do, people do.
Yeah.
And like New Year's Eve, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds.
Right.
And I'm gonna start losing weight. I'm gonna diet, and I'm gonna lose my ultimate goal. I'm gonna get back in shape like I was 18.
Yeah.
And you'll never get back in shape till you're 18, till you accept who you are now.
Right.
And just go with the flow of the energetic and the spiritual reality that you have created. It doesn't matter how much you diet. If you don't believe you can lose the weight and keep the weight off, then you're not going to lose the weight and keep the weight off. You're going to get it right back.
being in the now,
Being
and
in
what
the now.
that actually really means.
Yes.
And I've always said it, and I do always say, be in the now, be in the now. And I teach myself and coach myself personally through, if it's okay to stay, it's okay to go. Be in the now.
Yeah.
But what I found is I caught myself off guard with this particular topic of wanting to redo the whole space, from the patio to the studio to the bedroom, the living room. And I put living life now on hold while I was hanging out in my daydream state. And I thought, wait a minute. I live here now. This is ridiculous. This doesn't even feel like home.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
And so that's what Mama's getting for Christmas. Is she gets to redo her space.
Yeah.
Relationship advice tip number 1, gentlemen and ladies. When your significant other wants a gift that will benefit you, give it to her, because you benefit too.
Yeah. A round of applause.
Yeah. Good relationship tip.
Yeah. So we are starting on the patio.
Yep.
We spend, I would say, probably 80% of our time on our patio.
Yeah, we do. We like being outside.
Like it's actually a catio, human patio mix. We've got the little cat doors. They've got their little running shelves and cat trees.
Complete with
And
rope
then I
suspension
have,
grid.
Yep, that's right. And then I have my little Alexa 15 that can watch movies and stuff on out there. So, and it's like screened in and everything.
It's but we're starting with the patio. And the reason why, it was kind of a realization yesterday morning at coffee, when we were talking, doing our normal thing. And she's like, I feel like I'm living in a hotel.
Yeah.
That's what kind of started the whole conversation. And so we spent the day yesterday looking for stuff for our patio, and I finished out the shopping for some of it this morning, and so did you. And just accepting what we are now gives us permission to be more committed to now.
To just doing now, whatever that joy and excitement is.
It kind of gives that
very, very excited about redoing it.
It gives that phrase, live in the now, more validity for me. And because we have created now. We can't change the past, and our future is based off the belief system that we create and a bunch of other things going on, and that's in the future. That's down the road.
Right.
And I mean, down the road, maybe 15 seconds from now, but it's still in the future.
Yeah, and if you keep waiting to live, you'll wake up and be
not living, not ever
50,
lived.
80, 100, and you'll be in that mindset of, I wished I'd have done this or that. And so you've got to catch yourself and realize now. Now what makes me happy? What makes me joyful? And I think the biggest thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing that tripped me up. Here's the thing that I was kind of toggling around, other than the cat scratched furniture.
Cat scratch fever. Nah, nah,
There's
nah.
nothing wrong with the furniture that I have now necessarily.
There's got some scratches on the back.
It's just that I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
And boredom wasn't a good enough reason for me to feel like that it was okay to
get rid of your Cindy Crawford home white leather couches.
Sell that
like $8,000.
and replace it with new stuff. And
it was a mental mountain.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that stems from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
What came up for me in that was beliefs that there's nothing wrong with that. It still has good life in it. We're going to keep it, and you're going to keep wearing it, or you're going to keep using it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Growing up, how many times did your parents change their furniture?
Never.
That's exactly mine.
Never.
Mine either.
It's like you buy your furniture and you sit on it for the next
70
years.
Yeah.
You get it all set, you get it all decorated, and that's the motif, that's the decor that you run with. Kind of like the whole find your job, you work in it, you get a pension, you set up your little dollhouse, and
you don't ever leave it.
And that's it. And you don't ever leave, you don't change. You're just stuck in this little gerbil house, and it all looks the same, and you keep doing the same thing.
And there was a time in human existence for that was okay to be. It was for them back then. It was expansion to own a home and the American dream and all that stuff, and working the same job for 30 years because that was the only way they viewed success, because that's what they were taught. And as human experience in life has expanded, that just doesn't happen anymore. The average home ownership is 10.5 years because people will buy 3 or 4 homes in their lifetime now.
Yeah.
Because they realize they go up in value.
And
they
change.
sell and they change.
Change
and
is
there's
okay.
all sorts of, there's benefit in all the way around.
Right.
And
it's just a different way of looking at things. And change is okay.
It is.
You had brought to light to me, because one of the things that was going on with me in this digging around in this belief system was, okay, if I got it from a thrift store and paid $500 for a couch instead of getting it at a furniture store and paying $5,000, just to use examples, it was more okay for me to change it out like I would a pair of socks because I'm bored with it if I had gotten it from the thrift store.
Right.
If I got it from the furniture store and paid more for it, all of a sudden it then became not an okay thing because I hadn't used it up ragged and got what I perceived to be the value out of it. And so, okay, you're bored with it, tough, deal with it. It's not okay to change it out. But then you had made a comment yesterday when I was talking about wanting to redo the space and living in the now, of putting it on one of the selling sites and selling it. And I was like, oh, ding. It never even crossed my mind to put it out there and it be somebody else's treasure and selling it.
Yep. Just like us going to the thrift store. Yeah.
It just never crossed my mind to even do that.
And popping tags.
Right. I was just going to give the crap away and set it on the curb and then buy new stuff. I had to get rid of the belief system that it was wrong to do if the furniture wasn't falling down around me in tattered ruins before I replaced it.
Yeah.
And that came from childhood, because I can remember my grandmother having the same floral brown and gold couch.
Oh my God.
My entire life.
With the little wooden arms in the front.
Yeah. And then I can remember my father, same thing. Like he had the same tweed brown and tan couch almost our entire life. I don't ever remember him getting new furniture.
Probably still has it.
And well, he's dead, so I don't think he took it with him.
Well, it could be there though, at the house.
No, I think he finally remarried and moved in with her, and I think they got rid of it then. But I can remember having it our whole teenage years. Like
my grandpa,
change it out.
and grandma, when I was 13 or 14, they moved. Actually, maybe a little earlier than that. They bought the property in front of my parents' house, and my grandfather bought this huge, brand new, custom designed 2x6 walled modular home. Put it on a concrete foundation. Put all this stuff on it. Strapped it all down. Bought 2.5 acres and planted 5,000 fruit trees on this 2.5 acres. And then a moving truck pulls up. They lived in Anchorage, Alaska. They lived out in the boondocks of Anchorage, Alaska. And this moving truck pulls in, and Grandma came running over, and she was like, "Oh, Jesse," that was Grandpa's name. "Our stuff's here." And I was with Grandpa. I was helping him plant fruit trees, the 5,000 fruit trees we planted. And I was like, "Did you all ship your furniture from Alaska?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "So you bought this house, this brand new custom house, and you're going to put the same old furniture in it?" I was like, what did that cost you to ship down here?
Probably more than it would have cost to just buy new stuff.
Like $16,000.
Yeah.
To bring a trailer from Anchorage, Alaska through Canada and through customs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
so it makes you wonder, did they do that because they were attached to the stuff, or did they do that because they could still eke out some value in it because they were taught, and we got part of that as our generation. You've got to squeeze every drop of lemon out of that lemon juice out of that lemon before you throw it in the trash.
Well, here's the crazy part about it is my grandpa looked me in the face. He said, "Oh, that's just your grandma. That's her stuff." I'm like, "Okay." And then like half the stuff was damaged, and so they put it in the house, and and they're moving it all in, and Grandma's favorite recliner, her little rocking chair recliner, it didn't even operate. It was broke.
So she had to replace it.
And she's like, well, I'll just go buy a new one. I was thinking to myself, every time they turned around, they unload something. Oh, what does that to go buy a new one?
So they had to replace a lot of it anyway.
Yeah. And so I was like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. I mean, and not to mean, they were financially very well off.
Right.
And Grandpa could have easily refilled an entire trailer park full of furniture very easily. And he,
but the premise of our conversation, though, is remembering not to put things on hold.
Right.
Because that causes you to live in the future. And it causes, when you talk about energetically manifesting and creating your reality now, which is what we try to teach and help people do, if you constantly are programming your own mind of, like I was doing, oh, you know what, I'll do that when I buy the new house, that's keeping it in the future. And it will never.
Even buying the new house.
Right. It will never come into your current reality because you're programming and verbally teaching yourself that it's in the future and it's going to stay there until you line up with it and make it happen.
Well, that kind of falls into a parallel world with intention setting.
Yeah.
And when you keep putting things, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that now. In intention setting, we teach that everything is phrased differently.
Right.
And like, for example, instead of saying, I'm going to have a $100,000 a year job. You say, I have a $100,000 a year job.
Yeah.
I have a $100,000 a year job right now.
Right.
And then aligning with it because it's based on your beliefs, and the vague terms that people use also does the same thing.
Yeah. Another big one is, well, I'm trying to.
Yeah. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to find a new job.
That keeps it in the future.
It keeps everything out there.
Yeah. Keeps it chasing.
I'm going to be wealthy. Well, first of all, there's so many different things wrong with that. I'm going to be, first of all, puts it out in the future. And second of all, what is your definition of wealthy?
Right.
And so just saying, I am wealthy and happy and whole every single day.
Yeah.
And creates that environment of happy, healthy, and whole and wealthy.
Then living that way.
Living that way. That's correct.
And so by me saying, okay, you know what? Guess what we're doing today? We're going to buy things to redo the patio. That gave me control to bring that into the present moment and make it now.
Correct. Yep.
Rather than keep saying, oh, you know what? There's still life in this patio furniture. I'll just wait till we move into the new house and I'll redo the patio.
It is so uncomfortable too.
It is. I agree. The padding and stuff.
But what we found yesterday, that's nice.
It is phenomenal.
That's very nice.
Very comfortable.
We may sleep on the patio.
And so that's a good segue into the minute that I embraced bringing that into the now and giving myself permission.
Let me give you the backstory.
Lots of stuff happened yesterday.
Yes, do the backstory. We looked around back in April for new patio furniture.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a darn thing that we liked.
No.
She liked it or I didn't, and I liked it or she didn't, and it was like a complete just train wreck of a search of a day.
Right. We ended up just saying, okay, we're going to put this
it.
on the shelf for a while because it's just not happening.
Just not happening today.
We even went to a store that was no longer there.
Yeah.
Closed.
Yeah.
And then we went to another store that was like not open on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's kind of a look at the kind of wonky day that we were having.
Yeah, previously back in April.
Right. That was previous, but that was still when I had this whole belief in place that
when I do this,
it was a future kind of concept instead of
I wish I could do this.
Right. Yeah.
And so then yesterday morning when that happened, and she said, she looked at me, she goes, okay, I said, we're going to go get patio furniture or something.
Well, the first thing you did was, because mind you, I've been working on this for the whole week. It started coming to my realization, I would say kind of like Monday-ish, where I really kind of started thinking, you know what? Gosh, I feel like I'm living in a stinking hotel. This just I don't feel like I come home at the end of the day. And I don't get that just sanctuary home feeling from my space. It just feels cluttered. It feels just doesn't feel homey. So then I started digging around in it. Why? Why do I have that perspective? Just like we teach on every podcast. Why am I viewing it that way? What's going on? And so as I did that, these are the things that came up, is that I'm living kind of in that future, not kind of, full on, living in that future daydream of redesigning and decorating the house that's not here yet. And I stopped living in the house that I live in now.
Yeah.
I stopped living in it by not giving myself permission to do any changes or upgrades or just leave it be. There's plenty of life in it. So then I started talking to you about, okay, spring cleaning. I'm really feeling this nesting urge. I've been doing a lot of leaf clearing. So we're going to redo the house because we both need to live in the space that we're in now. Because when it's okay to stay, it's okay to go. When it's okay to go, it's okay to stay. So you said, okay, what room do you want to do first? So that's what started it.
Yeah.
Is that...
Well, you kind of hinted around about it.
Day before, I think yesterday or maybe even yesterday, we had that conversation and you said, okay, well, which space are you thinking you want to redo first? And as I thought about that, I was like, well, I spend a lot of time on my patio. I go out there first thing in the morning. I do my coffee, do meditation. And it's very hard to get in the right mindset when I hate the chair that I'm sitting in, or I hate looking at whatever I'm looking at on the patio. And so I was like, you know what? We spend about 80 to 90% of our time on this patio. We're going to start here.
Okay.
And he said, all right. So then we went out yesterday on our little adventure and away we went.
And walked into a furniture place and found the perfect furniture right off the very first place we went.
The first thing that happened is we went to the IKEA, remember?
Yep.
Because I wanted some fake tree.
Oh, yeah. This is funny, too.
This is a funny story. I wanted to incorporate in our covered patio more nature type stuff. And neither of us feel like we're very good at keeping plants alive.
No, I know. There is no thinking about it. I know. I have 2 black thumbs.
I'm going to need you to work on that belief. And we don't want to get there too soon because it's
we're
really
following
funny.
our son's lead because he's
It's
the
a
plant.
funny
He's
story.
the plant expert.
Yeah. So we walk into IKEA, and the first thing we do is we go to the as is section. It's kind of like the sales section.
Yeah, we do IKEA backwards.
We always do that first. Pretty much in any store we go into, we go to the last minute sale clearance aisle. So we went over there like we always do, and we were wondering about, and we came to these trees.
Yeah, like 5-foot tall trees.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, these are on sale. They were like $29 or something, regular 50 or 60. I was like, look at this, man. These things, why are they on sale? What's wrong with them? They look so realistic. Even down, and I said this, even down to the point where they have a couple of leaves that are damaged. I said, wow, they did such an amazing job on them even looking like they're about to lose a leaf or two. And they feel so real. Like, wonder why these are here. And we had this whole conversation.
I pick them up.
Why these fake things were in the thing. And he picked them up.
And I said, do you want them? And she said, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I picked one up and I put it in the cart and I'm like, that feels real.
He said, wait a minute. I think this is real. I was like, no, surely
not. And then
not.
we look at the tag and it says potted plant.
And it was real. Both of them were.
Yeah, both of them were. We should have grabbed a couple more.
So we, right then and there, got these real plants.
Yeah.
Less than half price.
Yeah, way less.
And that's the way our whole day went.
Yeah, it went really well.
We found things exactly the right color,
on sale.
the right feel, on sale. Like it was just a whole serendipity kind of day.
You got $150 worth of pillows for $25.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were on sale and they were the right color.
Normally $79, and you're gonna buy one get one free for $25.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. It was just one of those kind of days. And that's all because I dug around in those beliefs and I made it okay to follow my true joy and excitement in that moment.
And live in the now.
And live in the now, right now, letting go of any of those societally taught programming nonsense. And
that kind of falls into one of the subtopics that we always talk to people about. And because, we always get by the people that work for us and people that know us, they always say, well, you two are always doing something, and they always, most of the people say, well, how do you do it financially? And they always bring up money.
Yeah.
And we teach money as energy, money in, money out.
Right.
It's a flow process,
It is.
And because no matter what how you live, if you make $30,000 a year, or if you make $390,000 a year, you're going to adjust your lifestyle to your income.
That's
Even
right.
millionaires, like for example, Trump has $100 million a year in freaking expenses.
Right.
Most people can't even fathom that. They just want $1 million,
Right.
and he's paying out $100 million a year,
That's
or
right.
80 something million.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so if you're following your joy and you're following your excitement in every given moment, if you go back and look at things, it always works out.
Yeah, spirit is never not taking care of you.
That's right.
Ever.
And
And that goes to everybody.
yeah.
If you just stop and look at it, even if you were homeless at any given point because you put yourself into a reality that you were homeless, you were never, there was not a point in your life to where you said, I just can't do this no more, I'm dying. It's because you have put yourself there, and spirit brought you right back out of it.
When the reality is that if you're not supposed to be here anymore,
Yeah.
if you lay down, close your eyes and say, I'm done, and you wake up and open your eyes,
Guess what?
you're not done.
No, you're not done. Your contract is not expired yet.
It's not over yet.
And so living in the now is the way to do it. When anybody releases the beliefs and the fears behind all the stuff of, when I can afford this, I'm going to save for a rainy day. I'm going to find a new job. I'm going to get a new partner. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to save up all of my money this year, so next year I can buy a new car.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is, if you don't have your belief system right to where you believe money in, money out, and you believe it's an energy, then what's going to happen is somewhere within that year, you're going to create and manifest something that keeps putting it in the future.
That's
so you're
right.
going to end up having to spend your savings that you're saving for that car
On something else.
Right. And so instead of just going and doing it,
Right.
live in the now, do it now, be who you are, and just do it in a responsible manner.
Right. But we want to kind of bring it back around.
Yes.
We want to give the listeners some pointers if they're not there yet.
Okay.
Because like I always say, if your belief systems have you way far over here and you want to be way far over there, you can't get there that way. You've got to find little pebbles, stepping stones along the way. And so catching yourself, first of all, that, hey, I'm not living in the now. What am I waiting to do? What am I waiting to do? And why am I waiting to do that? Will reveal to you perhaps some beliefs, patterns, and programs that will give you something to work on. That would be the first step.
Yeah, such as?
Well, like for me, I was waiting because I had a belief that just because I want to change themes, that was a misappropriation of funds and of material things because there was still life in it.
And it gives you a negative attachment. And I think that's something we missed to say earlier, is when you are hanging on to something due to a pre-programmed belief of, I'm going to
suck the life out of it.
I'm going to suck the life out of it first. You are creating a negative attachment to something.
That's right.
That is a material thing.
Very good. You're right. I like it.
You when you create that negative attachment, it will make it stay in your reality.
And it'll begin to be like, gosh, I really just hate this couch. I just am really done with it. And I don't like the couch. And so then every time you walk in and you see the couch,
I still think
it's
they
like
switched us.
Drudgery. It's like drudgery.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's all because you see that you don't want to waste something.
Right.
Because it's not being a good steward of your money. and there still is life in it because it's not falling down off of its frame.
See, I'd rather give it to somebody that really don't have the financial means to own a $7,000 couch.
Right. I was trying to keep us on track.
Right. And that's where I was going with it, is when you have that negative attachment, and if you give yourself a positive spin on it, like I'd rather take the couch and the recliner. What's that? What was that look for?
Because you're talking 90 miles a minute.
Sorry. I mean, I got into
you got excited.
There. I got into a zone there.
Yeah.
I'd rather take this couch and this recliner and offer it to somebody at an affordable price that could never afford that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I
for
get
now,
it.
And it makes me, so it gives me a positive spin on the attachment.
Right.
Anyway,
I like it.
You may go on now.
No, I was listening.
Oh, but no.
I'm glad we're not videoing. That was kind of a crazy face.
It was. But the
so the next step would be, how do you get a newly awakened person through steps that would help bring them from living in the waiting to the living in it now, especially if it's intertwined and entangled with financial barriers of, well, I can't really afford to go redo my patio. I would love to, but I can't afford to.
Yeah, I hear it all the time about cars. I hear it from our employees there.
So what would be some baby steps or baby techniques that would help?
Well, about a year ago,
closer to that.
We have a employee that about a year ago, she was talking about wanting to go. She wanted a new car because her car was a piece of crap, and she said, "I just can't afford it." And I know what she makes because we pay her. And we were talking about it after a morning meeting one morning, and I said, "You realize that you'll never afford that vehicle if you keep saying I can't afford that vehicle."
Right.
And so step one of it is making the decision to be responsible, but go ahead and live now. Yeah. Quit putting it off to where I'm going to afford it, because what'll happen is you make your reality clearer to spirit of what you're going to do and what you're willing to do, and then spirit will give you the means. So what happens, what'd she do the following weekend? She went out and bought that brand new car. Brand new off the showroom floor.
Yikes. That sounds very scary.
She did it though. We ended up giving her a massive raise, and she is happy and content now. Yeah, she took on a $380 a month car payment.
But she's making it work.
But she was making it work.
So are you telling the listeners that they all just should jump off the cliff and go buy a new car?
No, what I'm telling, what the step I'm talking about is making the decision to live now. That's I think the first step. You have to. But what if they're not there yet? Take a deep breath. Understand that there's going to be fears involved.
Right, but what if they're not? What if they're not at a vibrational place where they can even wrap their head around going and actually making that purchase because they're so wrapped up in the fear or not able to release the belief? Is there any kind of tricks that can be done along the way?
Are you looking for me to tell you, or do you have an idea of what I'm supposed to say? Because wouldn't you just say it if you have an idea?
No, I'm just asking.
Because this is where how I got this person to move that baby step forward was, listen, you're going to be scared. You're going to miss it. Just be responsible in it. Understand of how much money you can spend a month, and don't go over that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, even if it tightens you up a little bit for a while, the Spirit's going to provide for you what it is that you need. And when you get to that point to where you're scared, you have all those beliefs, you have to make the decision that I'm going to live now, and I will swallow them. And I think that is the first step, is because this is all a decision that we're making to accept the reality we live in. Yeah. Live in it so we can expand. Right. And yes, you're going to have fears. Yes, you're going to be scared. Yes, you're going to have beliefs that pop up about the insurance is too high. Oh my God, it's so expensive. You're going to have all this stuff pop up. Mm-hmm. Just stop, take a deep breath, and own your reality. Own your decision. Mm-hmm. And if that's what you want to live and you want to go purchase anything, think through it. Make sure you figure out what I can do. So what if I'm
out there and I have questions of, oh my gosh, can I get financing? Can I what if you're just still battling up against that? Is there any little...
Well, that's all monkey mind.
I understand, but there are people out there who are still in that place and can't get to the point where she got. And so if we could do helpful techniques, for example, go and test drive the car.
Create the energy behind it. Yeah.
Creating the energy, embracing what it feels like, seeing what it smells like.
Or if it's furniture, go sit in that furniture at the showroom.
Yeah,
if it's an
give
apartment, go look around at apartments.
To go and at least put yourself in the
energy,
in the space of whatever it is you're wanting, to taste it, see it, smell it, to bring it more close into a real thing rather than it just being something you daydream about.
Yeah, I
that would be one of the steps I would recommend.
Yeah, you can do that. You can put yourself into the energy of it and let it manifest and bring it to the now. But you just have
collecting information on going ahead and letting them, check your credit to see what criteria would I need to be able to qualify.
Right.
If it were a car, for example, and that's the example you were using, to live in the now.
Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, because collecting the energy.
Because if you sit around with your monkey mind and say, "Oh, I probably can't even get financed," or whatever, I can't afford
it anyway, or I can't get financed.
Go collect the information and the data. Even if you don't pull the trigger and make the move, at least you've collected the information, and you know that you can put your monkey mind to bed on that story that it's saying is, "Oh, don't even try. You can't get financing." When what you might find out is that you can get financing with maybe a down payment
or higher interest or whatever. Yeah.
And so then you start putting money towards the down payment each check by moving some things around, and then go purchase it. But in the meantime, you go test drive it every weekend. Go to a different car lot and test drive it every weekend.
Yeah, you can.
And instead of calling it a test drive, just say, you know what?
She actually came to me a couple times and was asking questions about things. Cause, like, for example, she asked, well, she had never financed anything.
Yeah.
And she was like, so tell me about the financing. And I said, well, you'll probably, if you go to like a main name dealer, like a Chevy, a Honda, mainline, they have their own finance company.
Yeah.
And most of them offer first-time buyer programs.
Right.
And they will explain it through you. But what it is, a first-time buyer program is a higher interest, front-end loaded loan to where you're going to be paying interest first.
Yeah.
For the first 24 to 48 months. And I kind of gave it all to her. She's like, oh, that sounds like that's going to be expensive. I'm like, well, you can't go to that mindset.
Right.
You have to go back to where you were and believe in it. And you said it right. She actually went and test drove the car like 3 times.
Yeah. That's just getting in that space, getting in that energy, coming to the place that this is a real thing. And it's a viable thing that I have a shot at having.
Yeah.
And it's not as difficult as my monkey mind was leading me to believe.
That's correct, because that's what it is.
Even if it's just patio furniture. So I'll tell you the next thing that happened on our patio furniture. I like to use, even though, listen, we do just fine financially. We don't want for anything. We have a large budget that we play with. But I use a firm. And I don't really know why. Just because it's fun to spend some.
That's why.
It's easy and it's fun to spend somebody else's money for a minute.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast, by the way.
I agree, it is.
Rich people don't live on their money.
Right, I get it. And the interesting thing is, not only did we find the perfect furniture. It is so amazingly comfortable, guys. I just may not even be able to get out of my chair. Mm-hmm. It was able to be purchased with my little Affirm thing that I play with.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even have to
come out of pocket.
Like I shopped on somebody else's money.
It was no
down payment. I literally didn't even have to take any money out of my pocket yesterday because it qualified for Affirm, pay as you go, whatever it is.
We will do a podcast on finances, by the way, and there is a mindset out there that a lot of people think that being a millionaire is what funds everything, and but just so you all know that is a myth.
Yeah.
Millionaires do not live on their money.
Yeah.
They save their money and they live on everybody else's money.
I wouldn't go too deep. That is definitely a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but anyway, so we'll cover all that and about everybody's negative connotation on financing and credit cards and all that stuff. We'll do a whole podcast, maybe 2 on that.
Yeah,
because there is a deep thing that we have learned over the years that is very successful. So
yeah. I mean, and it will help change the energy around money and the construct of that tool.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is that changing your perspective about anything changes the energy about it so that it can be more of a high level energy, which then helps you align with those things that you want to see in your reality. And they come into that reality then as manifestations.
Yeah. And see that, then that kind of
It
falls
doesn't matter
back on
the topic.
To me, it's about making that decision that no matter what happens, you are going to change your perception. I'm going to change my perception on this topic. I don't care what happens. And yes, it can be a scary road. Yes, it can be, and it will be a happy road. I promise you that. It will be a happy road when you make the decision to change your perception on anything that is negative.
Or anything that makes you feel yucky.
Yeah, anything that makes you feel yucky.
Remember the emotional guidance system.
Yes.
The EGS, man.
That's her coined phrase.
That's a t-shirt.
EGS.
Write it down.
It'll be available on our merch store.
Yeah, that's another thing, guys. We're getting our merch set up.
The merch.
Yep, merch. Getting all that gearing up to get that ready so you can make purchases on metaphysical items, tools, clothing on our website at
the www.themerchcenters.org. That is ThemerCenters.org. And you can also get a link on of our social media, which is at the Merch Centers. And there's links to our website from the social media pages.
That's right.
You'll be able to get on the merch and look it up and find all the cool state of the art the newest metaphysical stuff.
Yeah.
That's out there, because that's kind of what we're focused on.
Yeah, and you have to remember, we've been doing this I know for me, I've been doing it 30 years plus.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of time to figure out where to get certain tools, certain books.
I did it for years too, but didn't know I was doing it. I had no idea what to call it.
You were.
I was just out there.
You were cool before you knew you were cool.
I would close my office window so nobody would see me meditating. Close all the blinds and lock my door. It's funny.
That is funny.
Yep.
So if there is some merchandise or a tool or a book that you're looking for, or some technique that you're wanting to explore as your own permission slip for your daily spiritual routine and you can't find it, reach out to me, because I can definitely help find the piece and get it put in our store.
Yes.
And that way you have a direct link on where to get that special, unique item that helps bring this all together for you.
So let's clarify and recap real quick.
Okay.
Living in the now.
Living in the now
is more important than living in the future.
100%.
And so because your now is the reality you've created, enjoy it. You should stop and enjoy it. You've created this reality. Enjoy it.
That's right. Stop and smell
Accept
the roses.
Make the decision to set your intentions, because your beliefs and your intentions is what is in the future. That is the only thing that you could put out in the future, and other than that, it's all contractual. And when you have your belief systems in line, all that expansion just happens.
I mean, so I don't want to give the impression that it's not okay to daydream into
totally
the future.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, the future is kind of your planning board, your architectural planning board.
What did you call yours? What was the board?
Vision board.
Vision board, yeah.
Yeah, it's a virtual vision board.
Yeah.
And that is perfectly okay to do to get ready for the next thing that you want to create and align with as you make your choices and remember what choices that you want to make, and help yourself stay in the awareness that, you know what, when I experienced these two things, I liked this. Slap it on your vision board I used to do poster board, and I would slap that stuff up there, and we had them all over the place.
Yeah, so you live in the now, and I think what a lot of people
But don't forget to stop
in daydream.
and continue to live now.
Right. I totally agree.
Don't, because this is what I did, is I stopped living in the space that I was in, and I started living in my future imaginary bubble, and kind of just moved out of the house I'm in now.
Was I like 30 years younger in your imaginary bubble? It had my six-pack back. And
yeah.
Oh, I did.
No,
I did.
I see you that way every day. You just hear my voice crack.
Shit. Sorry. There was something in my nose there. There was something I was going to say, and I guess I'm not supposed to say it because I lost it. Because it had everything to do with being who you are and how you are and what you are, and making it okay to be what you become, and watching for it. So like when there's something that you want in life, don't focus on it to where your reality becomes what your daydream is instead of your reality that you're in. Like we used to do. I used to tell, I can't even remember their name, but when I was counseling somebody, and I told them, write it down, take that piece of paper, put it in a bin, tell spirit, I want this. When I align with it, put it in my reality, burn that paper in an urn or whatever you want to do with it. Just get rid of it, and then be open to the journey that comes to you, because it can be numerous steps that takes you into that journey. Like this patio thing. How many times? I mean, we drove all over freaking Western Florida looking for patio furniture back in April.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that creating the daydream, aligning with the energy, but not being insistent that it looks like the way that the daydream looks, because that limits you to it looking even better and more profound than even your simple mind could put the daydream together.
Well, that when you put timelines on things, it's limiting. So if you say, by the end of next year, I'm going to have a new car.
Yeah.
You have now just made it till the end of next year until you get a new car. Instead of allowing it to happen, just put it out there, right, and then follow the journey
with no insistence on how it has to look.
That's right, because it will come into your reality. It will come into your reality as long as you follow the little breadcrumbs, the trails, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Be open-minded to things, because like it can be random things. Like we all the time, anytime we're out, we have people approach us randomly. Like when we were shopping last weekend over in St. Pete, and that guy came up to us and says, "You two are just a beautiful couple." Just randomly out of the blue.
No.
And we both look at each other like, what does that mean? It happens all the time.
Yeah, it does. And they just come up and they say random things. And
then they walk off. There's like no conversation. It happens like all the time.
Right.
Everywhere we go.
There's like no socialization about it. It's just like pop in, make a comment, pop out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Like yesterday.
We know what that guy's character was. It was just the bystander that popped in to say that. Now we got to figure out what that means.
Like last night when we were loading the Jeep, and I had the door open, and I apologized to that lady. I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were white." And she's like, "I don't care. I was just admiring your tattoo." I mean, what is that about?
Right.
So you're saying you're looking at my ass all day? I don't understand. What was
your
that about?
Your tattoo is not on your ass.
Well, but my ass and my leg was hanging out the door. That was it.
On your leg. Yeah. So then that's the thing is go back.
She was looking at my aspects.
Okay. Well,
I'm just kidding.
Then she was looking at your aspects. You want me to get her digits for you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Then looking at the tattoo and saying, okay, is there a hidden something in the tattoo? That's the fun of it.
Yeah. You're like, okay, it was weird. It just happens all the time.
It does.
It does.
Most definitely.
Like the lady at the hot dog stand that day.
We digress. Living in the now.
Living in the now. So I feel good. You feel complete?
Bringing it back around. So some tips and tricks are, if you are keeping things in the future.
Did you say tits?
No, I did not.
Did you not say tits and tricks?
I did not.
It sounded like you said tits
and tricks.
I think you said tits and tricks.
Your headphones are entirely too tight.
So we're tips
If you
and tricks.
are wanting something and you view it to be bigger than what you think you can handle right now, be it financially or task or whatever, and you're wanting to try and bring that daydream into the now, then go and put yourself in the situation, touch it, taste it, smell it, feel it, every chance you get until you can bring it into your reality. But don't forget to appreciate and be aware of where you are now and what you're doing now. Even if it's just buying the throw pillow that represents, okay, I bought the throw pillow today. And so next payday, maybe I'll buy the table.
Let's be clear about something.
Yeah.
You're describing material things. Because I would hate for a guy to go out there and see this good looking woman behind the bar, walk up and lick her on the back of the head, smell her hair, and lick it, touch it, taste it until he got it. Because that could be a little bit oogie. So we need to make sure we're talking about material things.
Wow. I got to get him off here, guys. He has lost all control.
Oh, I'm just playing. Making it fun, living in the now.
Yeah. Anyways, I was trying to bring it back around so we could itemize some tips and tricks for folks.
Okay. Go ahead. No?
I don't really know where to go from there.
You
don't really know what to do with that.
Well, you said put yourself in the reality, that's all. And touch it, taste it, smell it, lick it, whatever that was, and call dibs.
I didn't say lick it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Okay. But, call dibs on what you want. And that's really, because that's the funny part. Y'all remember the Toyota commercial when they called dibs on the car? They lick the handle. Is call dibs, put yourself in the scenario and the energy. And now, look, I've frustrated Mama. I have frustrated her with my joking around in the now. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, there's people out there listening and they're wanting us to get to the point, and you're running around being ADD and chasing your tail. Like sometimes, guys, I just can't really, man. Honestly, I just have to put him out in the yard and let him chase his tail because it just is what it is.
And so you can continue with your tips and tricks now. I'll shut up. I'll turn my mic off.
I just wanted to give them some realistic things for the different levels that we're going to be heard by.
Okay.
You know, if you're at that place where you can bring something into your now from your daydream, then take the leap and go buy it or go finance it, whatever that looks like. But if you're not there yet, you can go test drive it, go look at it in the store, just get yourself in the now moment of being in the presence of whatever it is. If it's another human being that you really want to date, I mean, see if they want to go get coffee on just a friend level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the Hallmark movies.
I wouldn't necessarily lick the back of their head. That might be kind of oogie and run them off.
Yeah, and smell their hair. That would be weird.
That would be a little weird.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't try that method. But, I mean, to each his own.
Yeah. No, I get it. I was just clarifying to make sure that nobody did that.
Yeah.
Because that would be a little weird.
Yeah. Definitely. But, yeah, I think the first thing is becoming aware that you're not living in the now on whatever the topic is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you catch yourself not living in the now, recognizing and realizing that you're not, and making sure that you come back to the now and appreciate and revisit the things in your now that do bring you good, happy thoughts or feelings, appreciation.
Agreed.
And living in the now is probably the first step.
I'd agree.
And if you have something that you can't seem to manifest into your reality now, digging around in the beliefs, patterns, or programs that might be keeping it from that, such as my example with the furniture still having life in it and me not feeling like it was appropriate to get rid of it because it still had some life in it when it doesn't really matter.
Right.
I mean,
And so I think for summation for me is making people really understand that it's okay to live now and daydream and don't take it negatively. I wish I had this or I wish I could do this. I wish I had that. I wish I was like that person, because all you're doing is giving yourself energy negatively towards your current reality.
right.
And because you're not liking who you are, I'd rather be that. I'd rather have that, because you're not liking who you are and what you are now.
Or because you feel like that having that thing is going to somehow make you feel better than what you are now.
And the reality
Pain and
is,
pleasure.
That's
And-
right. Yeah.
And the reality is if you can't find the pleasure where you are now, you're not going to find the pleasure in that thing you see outside of the now.
And to kind of finish off the story I started earlier, is this girl yesterday said, I'm going to go
Which
trade my
story
new
is
car in.
that?
The one with the
one where
car
you're
purchase.
licking the back of her head?
No, I was telling people out there not to do that.
Oh, okay.
Golly, I said ear, by the way, not head.
Oh, okay.
But she was talking about yesterday about trading the car in already.
Oh, yeah.
And so now the new is wore off, and she wanted this because it was going to make her so much of a better person if I get this car.
Yeah.
And now she's had it, she realizes it don't really change who you are.
No.
And she wants to trade it in and get something different.
Yeah. And that's okay. Change.
Yep, that's okay. That's what I told her. It's okay. Just don't remember to do it responsibly and logically.
Right.
Just make sure that you're doing it in the right way, because you can get really, really upside down quickly in cars. And so just make sure you're doing it the right way and let it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, and trust in your journey. That's the key. Live in the now, trust the journey. Live in the now, trust the journey.
That's right.
You got anything else?
No.
You're complete? Okay, don't forget, guys, our website, themerccenters.org, MERCCENTERS.org, the on the front of that. And our social media is at the Merc Centers. That's on Instagram, Facebook, all that. Look us up.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, share, and ring the bell.
Hey, we hope you all have an awesome day. Be who you are and love yourself.
We love you.